Welcome to Super Easy Physics and Mathematics. This is the part 2 of the review of IGCSE Biology Paper 2 MCQ Extended for February-March 2023 edition. So let's go into the paper. Total duration is 45 minutes and you are expected to answer 40 questions for 40 marks. Question 21. The apparatus shown is used to investigate aerobic respiration in seeds. So the seeds are placed here, soaked in water. The apparatus was placed in a dark room. So there is no light in a dark room. All the environmental conditions were kept constant. What will happen in the apparatus? Now, if you look at this one, we are investigating respiration. That means the seeds are going to respire. And if the seeds are going to respire aerobically, so what happens? The aerobic respiration, then the chemical reaction in the seed that uses oxygen to break down nutrient molecule to release energy. So we have that when the seed inside this container respire, they are going to break down the energy here inside the food material that is stored in the seed will be broken down through aerobic respiration, making use of oxygen. So the quantity of oxygen inside this test tube is going to reduce. And if the quantity of test tube is oxygen is going to reduce, then there is an issue that if we look at the equation, respiration involves the production of carbon dioxide. So another gas is being produced that would have increased the volume of gas here. But introduced into this is a chemical which absorbs the gas produced by the seed. So the gas produced by the seed is the carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide will be absorbed by it. This chemical here is soda lime. So if that is the case, since the quantity of gas inside this place, the oxygen is being used up, and then the carbon dioxide that is being produced is being absorbed, that means the volume of gas inside the test tube will be reducing. So that will cause a suction force that will make this color liquid, the capillary, to move down close to the test tube. So if you just the equation, just to remind you of the equation for aerobic respiration, glucose plus oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, then water vapor. So if you look at that is just a balanced equation. So which of them is the answer? So the answer is going to be C. So gas taken in by the seed is oxygen, that is use oxygen to break down the glucose. Then gas absorbed by the chemical in the mesh is carbon dioxide, which is the carbon dioxide. Then direction of motion of color in the liquid is towards the seed. Next question. Question 22. Why is yeast used in bread making? So if that is anaerobic respiration. So in this case, glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen to produce alcohol and carbon dioxide. So the major point where the carbon dioxide is produced in the presence of that fermentation, the baking process, because it's used to allow the bread to expand. So it's going to assist the rising process of the bread that is being baked. So the answer to this question is D. So carbon dioxide, because is the major. So anaerobic respiration produces carbon dioxide that is used for the rising of the bread. Question 23. In the diagram, which label identify the urethra. So let's see, A is the aorta, carry oxygenated blood from the heart to the kidney. Then B is the renal vein, because in the lower part, while this upper one is the renal artery. Then D is the ureter that carries the urine from the kidney to the bladder for storage, then before it is passed out through the urethra. So the urethra is C. Question 24. The diagram shows a reflex arc. Which label identify the motor neuron? So a finger is pricked by a pin. So we have here the sensory neuron carrying the information to the spinal cord. Then when it carries to the spinal cord, then the relay neuron transfer it to the motor neuron. Then the motor neuron carry the information to the effector muscle so that the hand can be removed for contraction to remove the hand. So the answer is B. Question 25. Which structure contains neurotransmitter molecule in neuron? Which structure contains the neurotransmitter molecule in neurons? So that is the vesicle. Now, the sensory neuron axon has hundreds of vesicles or tiny vacuoles. So each vesicle contains a chemical called neuron transmitter, which is a transmitter substance. So the answer to this question is D. Yes, question 26. The diagram shows a seedling growing inside a dark box. A dark box underlined. So I want you to take note of that. So the seedling, there is no light. So if there is no light, that means there is no phototropism. So that already has been eliminated. Then the root is going to respond to gravitropism. So the force of gravity, so it's growing downward. The shoot also, since there is no light, is also going to respond to the force of gravity. So gravitropism. So the answer to this, anyone having phototropism is out of it because of the dark room. So the answer is A. Let's go to question 27. Why is an MRSA infection difficult to treat? So I want you to look at it. The bacteria Staphylococcus aureus has a strand which is resistant to several different antibiotics. So that is the MRSA, resistance to several antibiotics. So we look at this particular group of bacteria. So if we have somebody that is infected, so somebody is infected with this group of bacteria, now if somebody is infected with this group of bacteria, and if the person takes antibiotic, so giving antibiotic treatment, so the antibiotic is going to eliminate some of the bacteria. Bacteria will be eliminated from the body, while we have some of them that are resistant, so they will refuse to die, and then eventually they will multiply rapidly because it's difficult to treat, so they keep on multiplying in the body, and then the disease, the infection will continue. So because this particular strand of the bacteria is resistant to antibiotic, to some antibiotic, So why is MRSA infection difficult to treat? Is because the strand of the bacteria is resistant to antibiotics. So C is the answer to this question. Question 28. What is the order of flowering plant through which the pollen tube must grow to reach the egg nucleus during fertilization? So the pollen grain will fall on the stigma grow through the style, and then the style go to the ovary, and then eventually fertilize the ovule. So the answer is B. Question 29. Which diagram shows the exchange of product between mother and fetus is correctly labeled? So if we look at it, like the fetus that is inside the womb, so is attached to the body of the mother through the placenta. So that one is probably labeled. And then the placenta is connected to the baby through the umbilical cord. That is properly labeled. Then waste product is removed from the body of the baby to the mother. So the arrow, the waste product, goes to the mother, while the baby feeds from the mother, that is nutrients, move through the placenta, through the umbilical cord into the baby or the baby for the body of the baby for nourishment. So the correct labeling is D. Question 30. Which statement about the synthesis of protein molecule in a cell is correct? The sequence of amino acid is determined by the sequence of the base in the mRNA. So if you look at it, the gene coding for the protein move from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. It does not move from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. The ribosome assemble amino acid into DNA molecule. No, it does not assemble it into DNA molecule. We assemble it into RNA, that's ribonucleic acid, the messenger ribonucleic acid. The messenger ribonucleic acid remains in the nucleus. It does not remain in the nucleus. It is in the ribosome. So C is also wrong. So the sequence of the amino acid is determined by the sequence of the base in the messenger ribonucleic acid. So that is the correct answer. So ribonucleic acid combine the free amino acid together using the sequence base code in the messenger ribonucleic acid. So that is the correct answer, D. 31. Each statement describes cell division by mitosis or meiosis in the human. It produces cells that show variation, correct? It produces cells that are diploid. No, the cells are haploid. Half of the number of chromosomes in the adult. It produces cells that are haploid, correct? It involves reduction division, correct? So the correct answer is 1, 3, and 4. So that is D. Question 32. In human, what is the genotype of a red-green color-blind male? Red-green color-blind male. So let's just draw the combination of genotypes. So we have the egg cell. So we have the alleles that from the female, and then we have the alleles that come from the male, the sperm. So we have this will be a normal female. Then the combination of this will be the normal female but with a carrier. of color blindness. Then we have a normal male, it's not color blind. Then the combination of Y and then with the carrier cell for color blindness. So this is a red-green color blind male. So the answer is D. Which feature is found in hydrophytic plant? That is hydrophytic, hydro, water. That is a plant that grows in water, or an aquatic plant, hydrophytic plant. So the leaves are coiled with the stomata on the inside. No, they don't have problem with water, so there's no need to conserve loss of water. Leaves are reduced to spine. No, this one is for desert plants. So the leaf in the form of spine is to reduce the rate of transpiration and water loss. Then stomata are sucked in pit in the epidermis. No, there is no WASSCE cortical. Correct. So that there will be easy transpiration. So since the hydrophytic plant is on top of the water, there's no need for it to have features that will conserve the loss of water. So D is the correct answer. 34. Which statements are correct during both natural selection and artificial selection? Only certain individuals reproduce. Correct. Alleles are passed on to the offspring. Correct. Organisms do not compete with each other for survival. Wow. That is wrong. In every ecosystem, there is always competition. So the correct answer is 1 and 2, which is A. Question 35. The diagram shows a food chain. Platyplanktton, zooplankton, herring, and sea lion. Which diagram shows a pyramid of energy for a food chain? What you need to know that the energy supply must be higher than the energy consumed. So this one is wrong because the number of the zooplankton is more than that for platyplanktton, so it's wrong. Now this one is totally upside down. so that means that what the herring is feeding on the sea lion, which is wrong. Then we have the platyplanktton, which is the producer, then the primary consumer, secondary consumer, and then tertiary consumer. This is the correct order, C. Then here they say sea lion, the tertiary is more than, so this is totally wrong. So the energy supply by the producer must be higher than the energy consumed by the consumer if the ecosystem must be stable. In the diagram, in the nitrogen cycle, what are the processes 1 and 2 representing? So if you look at it, plant protein is converted to oxygen in the air, that is nitrogen fixation, that is carried out by bacteria in the root of the plant. Then in this place, nitrogen in the soil is converted to nitrogen in the atmosphere. So this is denitrification. So the process nitrogen fixation and denitrification. Question 37. Untreated sewage is accidentally released into a river for several weeks. How will this affect the number of bacteria? The number of bacteria will increase. How will it affect the oxygen concentration? Oxygen concentration will decrease. And then how will it affect the number of fish? the number of fish will also decrease. So it's going to increase, decrease, decrease. So the answer is B. Question 38. The fish stock can be conserved in various ways. Which method of conservation ensures that mainly large fish are caught? Having a closed season? No. Having a protected area? No. Having a minimum mesh size of net for the cropping of the fish? Yes. Setting a legal fishing quota? No. So the correct answer is C. Question 39. Which component of bacteria is genetically modified to produce human insulin? The cell membrane? No. The cell wall? No. The plasmid? Yes. The single circular DNA strand? No. So it's a plasmid cell that is used for recombination. So question 40. Fermenter must have carefully controlled condition. Which condition has the correct reason for controlling it? So for fermentation to take place, maybe industrial fermentation, what we need to do is to control the pH value of the fermentation and in order to be able to have a optimal activity of the enzyme, so that we can have optimal production of alcohol from the fermentation process. So the correct answer is D. I know, hello brilliant student, you were able to preview this subject because I know you want to succeed, and SEPAM is here to help you. More tutorials solving past questions to assist you will be uploaded, so please subscribe to keep up to date, and kindly like, comment on the video, and feel free to ask any question. I'll make room to answer your question. Thank you for previewing this video. If you have not watched the part 1 of the video, you can go back to it so that you can go through all the questions.